Hello everyone, welcome to my channel SW Metro official channel.
Sister wives being called out wore Robin Brown out. Robin Brown, a sister wife, refuses to participate in the tell-all. Even before they drove to Sedona with Cody, Robin had demonstrated a lack of enthusiasm. The sister wife star stated that she would much sooner get a root canal than participate in the one-on-one interviews. Cody even asked if there was anything he could do to assist her. However, claiming that God had her back, she turned down his assistance. Although Robin and Cody continued to take part in the tell-all, many people are unhappy with Robin's behavior. Robin is fed up with being identified. Robin Brown's remarks about the family conflicts were included in the second section of the tell-all. The sister wife star claims she is tired of being the center of attention and believes it is getting to her. It is well known that the ex-wives have all hinted that Robin's presence in the family led to their dissolution. Robin continued by expressing her wish that the ex-wives will focus on their own relationships without bringing up her name. The problem is also known to Janelle Brown. She acknowledged in one of her interviews that many people want to blame Robin. However, she feels that Robin is not the only one who needs to be held accountable, saying that it takes two, which suggests that Cody was also involved in the breakdown of the family. Robin Brown was criticized for not wanting her sisters to mention her name. Fans of Sister Wives talked about Robin Brown's remarks that she didn't want the ex-wives to mention her name. The OP claims that, unlike Mary, Janelle, and Christine, Robin has never stayed in her line and has operated in the background. According to the poster, Robin seems to be denying that she was a major factor in the other wives' departure. Others concurred, pointing out that Robin only considers herself. The problem is that she desired attention for herself. She desired for Cody to be all about her, for the OGs to swarm around her and plead for her attention, and for the audience to tell her how unique, attractive, and young she was. Robin, don't misrepresent what I said and don't turn me into a victim, then proceed to turn herself into the victim. This woman wanted to be publicly blessed on television by the women whose marriages she had broken. We're not interacting with a real-life person. She is so self-centered that she believes the other wives are genuinely interested in her. They don't give a damn about you, Robin. However, they seem to live in your head and only in your head. Sister wives, Robin puffs up with pride over Cody's clone plan? Hello, Sister Wives lovers. Let's take a look at Cody Brown's most recent admission regarding his plans to save his failing marriages before they went bankrupt. Let's look at how Robin Brown not only appeared flattered when she heard Cody's suggestion, but also suggested it might work. Still, Cody's plan to make his first three spouses into Robin clones had a distinct impact on Mary Brown, Janelle Brown, and Christine Brown-Woolley. Cody Brown's perspective on sister wives. In the inaugural Sister Wives one-on-one section of Season 19, Cody Brown presented his side of the story, or should we say saga. He described why his polygamous family disbanded. Of course, this was all from his perspective, and possibly Robin Brown's too, as she grew curiously supportive of everything he said on TV Sunday night. But what about the other wives? Not very much. Mary, Janelle, and Christine thought his explanation flawed. And his so-called answer to the problem is much worse. According to Cody, the key to preserving his three marriages would have been for Janelle, Christine, and Mary to emulate Robin's behavior and dedication to him. Of course, the Sister Wives patriarch says this after the fact. His three ex-wives are long gone and are enjoying their new ex-wife titles now. Cody and Robin Brown knew them well, or not. For these Sister Wives stars, Cody and Robin, to even consider this strategy realistic demonstrates to viewers that Robin and Cody did not know much about Mary, Janelle, and Christine's inner workings. Robin and Cody don't appear to know who these ladies are, despite the fact that they've been married for so long. Cody describes the love he felt with Robin as having a divine aspect. He also states that this love was much higher love than he had with his previous three spouses. So, Cody tags Robin with these phrases, which are generally associated with worship. That's perfectly up Cody's alley, because what Robin brings to the marriage sounds like praise. Cody is astounded by Robin's level of devotion to him, which includes being a wife who is extremely accommodating to his wishes and demands. This dynamic has infuriated Sister Wives viewers, especially since Mary, Janelle, and Christine never fit the norm of unwavering devotion. They had individual identities, ideas, and boundaries. But this contradicted Cody's assumptions. However, it is intriguing to see how this disparity played out. Sister Wives, plan hatched with one foot out the door. Sister Women fans watched as Suki questioned Cody about his strategy to preserve his marriages, which he devised while the women had only one foot out the door. Or, at least, he believed he still had a chance to save this multiple marriage, but he was mistaken. However, his thought process for this modification is quite astounding. Any one of the millions of Sister Wives watchers could tell him that Mary, Christine, and Janelle were not designed to be mirror versions of Robin. However, after decades of marriage, you would think he would be aware of this. He did, however, explain his reasoning behind the unsuccessful plan. It appears he began by reflecting on what he had with Robin and what he lacked with Mary, Christine, and Janelle. Cody takes a good look at Robin. Fans of Sister Wives could see what Cody was planning. That light bulb went off above that head of ringlets. Then Cody believed he could elevate his relationships with Janelle, Christine, and Mary to the level he had with Robin. Robin recounted what her husband had said during her one-on-one session in case Cody hadn't made his plan totally obvious. Robin's response was clearly flattering, as fans noted. Whether she was inspired by Cody's passion or merely reinforcing the Sister Wives patriarch's point of view, Robin was not disputing Cody's rationale. Sister Wives, did Cody really invest? So, what do you think? Was Cody's strategy really actually about rescuing his marriages, or was it more about strengthening his friendship with Robin? Sister Wives viewers note that Cody's strategy and the facts he provided were incredibly complementary to Robin. Telling the world in his one-on-one that a relationship can't get any better than his one with Robin provided Cody with a ready-made platform to publicly fawn over his previous wife's departure. Cody's tale about his reconciliation strategy helped him in two ways. He returned some of Robin's adulation and sought to project the image of a man who was serious about rescuing his marriages before it was too late. But Cody's repair was never going to work. So, after Janelle, Christine, and Mary took this in during the one-on-one section, they considered it to be the furthest thing from flattery coming from Cody. Are we all supposed to be Robin? Christine gave her thoughts on Cody's efforts to reconcile with his original three Sister Wives ladies. She said Cody made no effort to improve their marriage in any way. Janelle had a nice laugh, but Mary may have had the finest response to Cody's idea in a nutshell. Mary asked Suki, "Are we all supposed to be Robin?" By the time Christine, Janelle, and Mary decided to go, they were all choked up from Cody's Robin analogies. At least now they understand where all of this was coming from. He was giving them a divine boost in an attempt to achieve a greater love, which failed terribly. Robin Brown, the once fresh-faced fourth wife on Sister Wives, is now arguably the most controversial cast member in the show's long history. With each passing tell-all, episode, and interview, Robin finds herself at the center of criticism from both the audience and her former Sister Wives. She's grown weary of being blamed, tired of hearing her name invoked whenever Cody Brown's family drama reaches new lows, and frustrated that her every word is scrutinized and reinterpreted. But is Robin's fatigue warranted, or is it yet another layer of a narrative where she continues to deflect accountability while insisting she's misunderstood? This essay explores the deepening chasm between Robin and the rest of the Sister Wives family, analyzing the emotional, spiritual, and social toll of being perpetually called out. It also examines whether Robin's complaints are valid or part of a victimhood persona she has actively cultivated. As Robin resists returning for more tell-all interviews, fans and critics alike are asking, has she finally had enough, or is this just her way of avoiding the truth? Robin doesn't want to be in the tell-all, and maybe she never did. The season 18 tell-all brought a revealing moment for Robin Brown, her outright admission that she didn't want to be there. While most cast members understand the tell-all as a necessary, if awkward, part of the Sister Wives experience, Robin took a different tone altogether. She compared the one-on-one interviews to a root canal, something painful, invasive, and deeply unpleasant. Even Cody offered his support, asking if there was anything he could do to make it easier. Robin declined, insisting that God has her back. That moment, although brief, offered a microcosm of Robin's entire experience with the sister-wives narrative: reluctant participation, divine justification, and a distancing from personal responsibility. Robin's resistance to the tell-all wasn't just a bad mood or temporary anxiety. It reflected a deeper desire to opt out of the confrontations and accountability that inevitably come with the show's current trajectory. The other wives, Christine, Janelle, and Mary, have all come to the couch to explain their choices, express regret, or call out dysfunction. Robin, however, seems less interested in that transparency. And as the audience has noted, when she does speak, her words often center around being misunderstood, mistreated, or unfairly judged. Robin's growing exhaustion: there's a lot of focus on me. During part 2 of the tell-all, Robin openly voiced her frustration. She's sick of the spotlight being on her. There's a lot of focus on me, she told Sukanya Krishnan, the tell-all host. That statement was met with a flood of reactions online, ranging from disbelief to outright mockery. Of course there's focus on her. She's the only remaining wife, the alleged favorite, and the one person whose presence many believe catalyzed the collapse of the polygamous dream the Browns were selling. What Robin seems to miss, or perhaps chooses to ignore, is that the focus on her isn't random or malicious. It's part of the cause-and-effect chain that fans and family members have been documenting for years. When Christine left the marriage, she pointed to feeling excluded. When Janelle and Mary followed suit, they echoed similar sentiments. And while Cody is certainly not blameless, much of that exclusion came with Robin's increasing dominance in the family dynamic. Still, Robin's fatigue is real. It's emotionally draining to be the person everyone seems to blame, even if the blame is partially deserved. What complicates the issue is that Robin often talks about being tired of the attention but then speaks in ways that draw more of it. Whether it's crying on camera, referencing her spiritual alignment with Cody, or subtly suggesting she's been wronged, Robin continues to feed the narrative that she's simultaneously central and victimized. Janelle: it takes two. Among the voices that provided a more nuanced take on Robin's role was Janelle Brown. In one of her interviews, Janelle acknowledged that people often put the blame on Robin. However, she added that it takes two, pointing to Cody as equally responsible for the family's breakdown. This perspective is both fair and refreshing. It shifts some of the heat away from Robin without entirely absolving her. Janelle's comments matter because she was once one of the more pragmatic, emotionally detached wives. If even she sees Robin as a factor, but not the only one, then that's worth noting. However, Janelle's willingness to share accountability does not mean Robin is off the hook. What makes Robin's situation different is how actively she has participated in, or at least benefited from, the hierarchy that emerged after she joined the family. Fans aren't buying Robin's self-victimization. Outside the Brown family, Sister Wives fans have been more direct in their criticism. Reddit threads, YouTube recaps, and TikTok clips are flooded with commentary accusing Robin of deflection, denial, and narcissism. One poster wrote, "She wanted the focus on herself. She wanted the OGs to revolve around her, and she wanted Cody to be all about her." Another noted the irony of Robin saying, "Don't make me a victim," only to follow it up with complaints about being attacked and misunderstood. Perhaps the most common sentiment is that Robin lives in a fantasy world where she is the aggrieved party, despite having gained everything: legal marriage, Cody's emotional loyalty, and the biggest chunk of family resources. When she says she doesn't want her name mentioned by the ex-wives, it comes across as an attempt to erase their lived experiences. Christine, Mary, and Janelle can't tell their stories without referencing the woman who, in their eyes, upended their lives. Robin's narrative control, and why it backfired. It's fair to say that Robin has always been aware of how she's perceived. In earlier seasons, she worked hard to present herself as spiritual, submissive, and family-oriented. But as time passed, her actions began to contradict that image. Whether it was moving into a more lavish home, resisting equal financial distribution, or aligning herself entirely with Cody during conflicts, Robin appeared to be maneuvering behind the scenes. Fans began to label her as manipulative, calculating, and performative. When Robin tries to control the narrative, By avoiding the tell-all, by crying when confronted, or by blaming the editing, she loses credibility. Reality TV thrives on authenticity, or at least